What are you looking forward to most about headlining in such a big show at the O2?
Yeah, I don't know if there's any one thing. Look, I love being a part of massive events. The competitor being across the ring from, that's huge for me. Back at the O2, that's massive. I love it there. It's my favourite venue. So, yeah, there's no one thing. There's just a lot I'm looking forward to on the night.
And obviously the mandatory position is on the line. What was your reasoning for picking this fight? You said at the press conference you picked Joe Parker. Was it the fact that the winner fights Usyk, or was it something about Joe Parker that you wanted in the ring opposite you?
No, look, there was two parts to it. One, obviously him with the position in the WBO was ahead of mine with the WBA. That's an obvious choice in itself. And also coming off the back of the Justice Hooney fight, me and myself, I felt like, all right, cool, I've got a point to prove here. Like, if people are saying that, oh, I had a bad performance and means X, Y, Z about me as a boxer or skill level, then cool. Who's the best in the division? Usyk, okay, he's not available right this minute. Who's next? Joseph Parker? Call Uncle Frank and ask for it.
The story of Fabio Wardley is so inspiring. War by name, war by nature, right? The opportunity to fight Oleksandr Usyk would just be so special. What would that mean to you, having that on the horizon? What would that mean for you?
Yeah, look, it'd mean everything. It would be, like you said, it's a bit of a fairy tale story that everyone's been kind of piecing together, and it is a bit of a funny one. It has been a bit of a wild ride, and that would be just an amazing conclusion to what has been a wild career. Not to say I'm planning on retiring anytime soon, but that storyline would be great.
And I'm not asking you about the fight, but do you think Usyk actually wants to come back and fight the winner? Because a lot of people are saying he's going to choose other routes and suggesting that he's not injured. He just needs a little sabbatical because he's been fighting so much. Do you think the winner will genuinely fight Usyk?
No, I think they will. I'm pretty sure one of his team, Sergey, came out the other day and said he's keeping an eye on this fight. He's happy to fight the winner. So, look, all I need to go do is my job on the night, and then all roads lead to Usyk.
Could I just ask you a stray question as well on Jake Paul, Gervonta next week? It's such a random fight for boxing. As a heavyweight yourself in the pro ranks, what do you make of, obviously, Usyk's called out Jake Paul in the future, but just Jake Paul and Gervonta as a whole? Yeah,
a bit of a random one. Not one that's really taken my interest at all. Them fights don't really bother me. I might flick it on if it's casual and about, but I'm not following the build-up or interested in it really.
Who wins?
I think it's obvious that Davis would win, even with all the size difference. But again, I wouldn't put anything past that kind of showman, stagey kind of fights.
I spoke to Andy Lee earlier in the week, and he says it's going to be over in 2 rounds. Do you expect the fight to be over quite quickly, or do you think it will go into the deeper rounds?
Unless he said Fabio Wardley in 2 rounds, then no, I don't think there's nothing about me that says any of my fights would be over in 2 rounds. You'd need a few Joseph Parkers in there to get me out within 2 rounds.
Do you genuinely believe that Joe has never seen something that you bring to the ring?
No, I do. I don't think he's seen someone with my array of skill sets. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying he's not faced good fighters in the past and he hasn't seen a bunch of things. I'm just saying I do things a little differently. I think that much is evident. So it's going to be something different. You're not going to find a sparring partner who's going to emulate me in the right way. So when you get in there on the night, it's going to be a bit of an adjusting period for you.
Do you think he will plan to get you out in the earlier rounds because he saw what happened in the Justice Hooney fight, that you can go into the later rounds and obviously pull out what you did?
Yeah, maybe. I'm not really sure what their game plan is. Look, maybe they're going to try and box me and stay away. Maybe they're going to try and steamroll me in the first few rounds. Who knows? But I've proven both ends of the spectrum. If you want to try and run at me in the first couple of rounds, you'll get knocked out. If you want to try and box it clean and see yourself to the finish line, I'll knock you out.
Finally, you've said that you're going to knock him out. Do you expect it to be earlier or later in the fight?
Look, that's not a plan in terms of when. I don't have a crystal ball in that sense. I don't know exactly when. I can't give you a round, but it's coming.
Fabio, Gunman Boxing, the baddest boxing channel in the UK. I think it is fair to say you were getting peppered like a sirloin steak in the last fight before you pulled it out the bag. You pulled it out of the fire with the one-punch bang. Do you think they're underestimating your boxing ability going into this fight?
Yeah, I think it's a bit overshadowed. I think I don't know, maybe I've built a rod for my own back in the sense of having these highlight reel knockouts, pulling it out the bag and things, and I think people are skipping over my actual boxing ability that led me to get these knockouts and get these wins.
Yeah, listen, they're calling you white collar. You get labelled with that a lot. Does that annoy you? The fact, because people think of white collar, head guards, charity boxing, and all the rest of it. But there's actually some superb, skillful fighters from white collar, and people like yourself that come through and prove people wrong. Does it get under your skin when people label you a white collar fighter?
No, not at all. It's actually something I wear quite proudly, and to be able to be a different kind of beacon, a different viewpoint for people to look at and go, actually, I love boxing, love the sport, I want to get into it this way in a different route. And I encourage that, because as long as you're committed, as long as you love the sport and it's something you want to do, you can make your way in this.
Listen, my brother, best of luck fight night. May the best man win.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.
Fabio,